Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax
I meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for May 20th through 24th, 2024. Oh, look at that. It's 2024.
Oh, that's very cute.
That's probably like the only time that's really going to happen. Okay, cool. Yeah, because next year it'll be 2023, but it'll be 2025. Okay.
Right.
Or it'll be 1923. Anyway, this is just going to be our new theme. We'll just let you guys know when we're back in person. How's that? Because this last minute life stuff has got to stop. But this time it's not really anything bad. It's just a matter of non-communication between things that are happening.
There you go.
So, yeah. Okay. So we did have a whole bunch of Port Charles pipelines. 2 of them I'm waiting to read, and I put notes in my notes to read the pipeline emails. So okay. I hope that I don't forget. Okay. I just bolded them just to be sure. So we did have a few suggestions for Madeline for teen mystery books.
Oh, thanks.
Calla Lily so typically I do not read. Actually, she's very lucky because she tweeted at us. Is it still called tweeting at if it's Xing at us? I don't know. But first of all, it's the last one that I ever really go to. Like, I'm not on it every day. I'm only on it pretty much when I post the show. I happen to see this, and I really don't. Obviously, we prefer email just because it's easier to keep it contained into one place. But good timing on Calla Lily's part. So thank you. Teen Mystery, The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. It is clean and it is gripping. Also could not read 50 Shades because it was so poorly written.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And then, why do I feel like, hold it. I read Holly Jackson's the one that wrote the Good Girls Guide to Murder.
Yes. She has read that one.
Okay. That's funny. I just read that one. That book, and you know what? She might like Mother-Daughter Murder Night too then.
Okay.
Those were the 2 books that my husband picked up for me from the library that the librarians were like, do we need to, be looking out for you here? Like, what's going on? And then Emily sent us some mystery book suggestions. Love you, ladies. Thank you. I was screaming at my car radio, Nancy Drew. The Nancy Drew mysteries are appropriate for all ages. There are 100 or so in the series. Also, they promote girl power. Thanks for sharing in my love of General Hospital. I'm 47 and have watched my whole life. I look forward to you being a part of my week.
Aw, that was so sweet. And thank you.
I have never read Nancy Drew.
Yeah, I have not either.
I'm surprised by that. Has she ever read The Boxcar Children?
I don't think she has.
That was one of my favorite series when I was younger. But I feel like I might have been younger than her. And I feel like she's kind of how I was in reading I was reading books about CIA conspiracy in 6th grade. So
yes, she likes to read more mature books. But also the funny thing is, like, I look at an adult book and I think, oh, okay, this is probably not appropriate content and is probably, like, she has a very good vocabulary and reads really well for her age, but it probably has some, like, bigger thoughts in it that she's not going to grasp. And then whenever you look it up on the AR scale, it's like a 3rd grade reading level.
Right.
So some of the books that she's picking because that they are, she'll be in 6th grade next year. So she likes to read at like a 7th grade level. So she'll pick a book that's at a 7th grade level. And I'm like, I don't even know that I could read that book because it's a more adult content, not like gross stuff, but like just the theories behind it kind of book. And she's like, well, it's only 6 point whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, we were talking about the It Ends With Us book.
Mm-hmm.
That is like a third grade level reading book. And she made fun of me and was like, Mom, why are you reading third grade level books? And I was like, I'm just reading a book because I enjoy it. I'm not
Oh, because they're talking about like the language that's used and the.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because then they take that 10-point test on it. They have to read so many AR books 9 weeks.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, that's below my reading level. I'm like, whatever, Madeline, be quiet.
So it just occurred to me. So I've only read one Stephen King novel in my life, and it was
Okay.
11/22/63, which is about the JFK assassination. But it's also like a little bit of time traveling. It is a very long book, but it's 849 pages.
Okay.
But I just looked it up on the AR and it's 5.4. So she might.
See, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I actually think that I have it. If I have it, I'll let you borrow it because I think that she might like that too. Because it's really, it moves along.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all our fans. Like, I really do appreciate it because, yeah, I plan on having a summer full of reading, but I don't want to get books she's never going to read. And I can request a whole list at the library now and be set.
Yep. And then we had our friend Nicole message about what would you ladies think if they brought Lulu out of the coma? I don't know what she would say to her mother, Laura. I wonder if people dream while in a coma.
Oh, I think they do.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm ready for her to come out of that coma, man. Come on.
Seriously. And then, hold on. No. And then the last two are
the ones you're holding.
Yes. So this week's Port Charles 411 is continuing. Lila, it's only going to be 90 to 91. I thought for sure we were just going to be doing the 90s and then the 2000s and be done with 4 weeks. So
yeah, I swear when I picked this topic, I thought it was going to be like a one and done.
Yeah, it was. Here's the thing, though. The write-up was just so short.
Yes.
Like there was no context to any of her storylines, which some of them are kind of juicy. So
all right,
we need that. And then you're going to get started on Bobby, on the next part of Bobby, which is Carly and Bobby.
Yep.
And so hopefully we will have that done. And I know that we said we want to do a summer of fan spotlights, so we're going to try to fit those in too. But I think now we pretty much have the summer planned out.
There you go.
Yay!
Yeah, I think we'll probably get through July, and then we could make August fan month.
As long as they don't bring anything else in to throw us off.
True.
So we'll see how it goes. We're really trying to get ahead on these, though. All right. So you have anything?
No. I'm wondering who you're looking at.
No, sorry. I was looking at the TV so that I can read the Hulu headlines.
I'm like, who else are you asking? Do you have anything?
No. Contextually, that was a fair point. All right. So on Monday, Sonny is horrified. Blaze consoles Kristina. Jason summons Carly. Gregory apologizes to Finn, and Anna confronts Brennan. On Tuesday, Alexis and Diane prepare to present their case. Kristina pleads with Michael. Dex has a big decision to make. Finn faces a difficult task, and Sonny seeks Dante's help. On Wednesday, Elizabeth is alarmed. I feel like there could have been a different word used there.
Right, even just concerned?
Yeah. Alexis is thrown for a loop. Dante issues a warning to Sonny. Ava gets key intel, and Kristina makes an offer. On Thursday, Carly stonewalls Anna. Alexis, hold on, let me make sure that Cookie is not in my room and trying to get out. Oh, she is. I'm sorry, honey. I'm so sorry.
I thought you wanted to be part of the podcast today, Cookie.
I heard her scratching and clawing at the door, and then it occurred to me she might have been in here. She's been really enjoying sleeping under my bed lately.
Aww.
Which is fantastic to have a black cat hiding in a very shadowy, dark space. So there's that. So back to Thursday, Carly stonewalls Anna. Alexis has her day in court. Ava offers sympathy to Sonny. Gio makes a move, and Kristina shares her fears. On Friday, Molly and TJ go on a date. Elizabeth can't shake her concern. Portia is conflicted. Cody and Stella support Tracy. I don't feel like there's any way to go into this without, we could do the Kristina stuff first.
I was going to say, just kind of cover Monday's stuff first, because Monday was still a happy day.
Yeah, but hold on. Let's go back to what was Monday. Well, Monday was when Sonny was freaking out because Kristina ran away. Jason was trying to get him to calm down. He calls Carly. Carly comes and tries to talk him down.
I felt like today or this week, he should have been talking to Nina, because Nina loves to not take responsibility for anything. And Sonny was right there this week of, oh, it's Jason's fault. Oh, it's Dex's fault. Oh, it's whatever. And Carly's like, seriously? None of it's your fault. You put the guy in pretty bad shape that he had to go get checked out at the hospital, but it had nothing to do with you. And he's like, nope, wasn't my fault.
And then he went to see Dante, and Dante's mad about getting in the middle of it.
Right. For once, I see Dante's point, because he just had this conversation about quitting the police force because his dad puts him in the middle, and everyone's like, no, your dad won't put you in the middle as long as you're still on the force. And then here comes Sonny to be like, hey, so I beat up this guy, but it wasn't my fault again.
See, and that should have been Dante's first ear perk, that his dad has never come to him and said, hey, so I just committed this crime.
Right.
I mean, despite Dante already having these conflicting feelings and feeling as though he may be choosing to turn a blind eye, although I personally have never seen it, but that's what he felt at that time. And that's fine if that's how he felt. But this is the first time that Sonny has come to him asking for his help in not covering it up, but also getting out of a sticky situation. If Sonny were thinking correctly, he would know Dante can't be part of this conversation.
Dante can't be part of the conversation. And even if Dante could do something, he won't. Like, that's the whole point, is he is trying to uphold the law. So he's not going to persuade Dex to not press charges.
And Sonny would have thought about the fact that Dex is now a cop. And I understand why he went to Dante as, can you go talk to your sister?
Right.
Because he can't talk to Michael about that.
Right.
But I don't know. I still found that it was weird that Sonny, I feel like Dante should have maybe been looking at that as, yeah, I understand you're asking me for this stuff with Kristina, but you're smart enough to know all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting. I did like that Dante said, I will talk to her as a brother.
Right. Exactly.
But I am not mentioning a single thing about you but then Joss had taken Dex to the hospital, and she says that she still loves him. But then they meet Michael in the park.
Yeah.
And now Joss suddenly doesn't want Sonny to pay for anything. Like, she doesn't want Dex to turn him in.
Right.
And she's saying for Kristina's sake, which I think is nice, but she did say something about it this week, that she's been, I don't feel like she said unreasonable, but she said something.
Yes. Something like she hadn't seen the bigger picture.
Yes.
So now she gets it. What I don't understand is, okay, don't press charges against Sonny right now, but there has to be a certain amount of time that you have to report the crime. How about we look into that? And assuming that it's, a couple months, let's let Kristina have the baby, and then let's press charges.
Right.
And I don't know how Port Charles court system works, but here, if I press charges against someone today, we're not going to court for a couple months anyway.
But also, they just took Cyrus's statement for the same exact thing. So obviously it's at least 3 months, because, they just took a statement in maybe April, and that happened New Year's Eve, right?
Yes.
So yeah, get Dex's statement, get it, and get that file built up, and then they'll have all of that waiting for when they finally make their move. You're right. Yeah. Oh, because Blaze had called Michael to go see Kristina, which we don't really see them as siblings anymore.
Right.
Not since the recast. We don't really see, because he calls her Chrissy. Did he call her Chrissy? I don't think he called her Chrissy.
I don't think he did either.
But she's talking about how she's turned a blind eye to Sonny all these years. She literally created a reality show called The Mob Princess.
Right.
Are we forgetting that we just did a 411 all about it, guys? Kristina has been 100% aware.
Yep.
of her dad's dealings. I guess maybe she just never saw the violence. She knew that he could strong arm because he paid her way into Harvard, Yale, whichever school it was that she went to.
I think it was the Yale. But yeah, exactly. She's well aware of all of the different ways that he manipulates people, systems, things to get his way.
But maybe she just didn't understand the violent side of it, like how he does it, like the method behind.
I mean, I'm sure it's different actually seeing him, like we talked about before, even having a bodyguard that does your dirty work is different than seeing you actually do it yourself.
Right.
So,
right.
And hearing him threaten, I mean, that wasn't just like a, I'm going to punch you again threat. That was, I'm going to unload a gun in your head. So that's quite a difference.
I really wish that Jason had gone to see her too, but I understand that he was there to protect Carly if needed. So
right.
I absolutely get that. But I hope that Jason goes to see Kristina.
Yeah, I feel like that's necessary because of everything that's happened through her life with him.
Yeah. Oh, but Sonny told, can we just do a storyline change, please, on this whole Ava thing? Let's forget about all of this. And let's just have her do what she would have done 6 months ago and help him.
Yeah.
This is a change. This is a shift that came out of nowhere for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, I don't even understand what the end game is here. Like, okay, so say he gets crazy enough that he thinks he's in love with her and he's divorced Nina now, so they get married. You're going to live with this man being in this manic episode? Like, no.
She's smart enough to know how dangerous this is. And she's putting herself in danger, too.
Right. But
it's not like
she's putting her kid in danger.
Mm-hmm. It's not like something happened that then she started to question Sonny and she started doing some investigating, and now this is her way of getting back at him.
Right.
There's no motive.
No, it's just like she suddenly decided that she wanted to be with him, so now she's going to do whatever. But like we've said 1,000 times, Ava is a good mom, and she values the relationship between Sonny and Avery, and so she's not going to let Avery see Sonny keep declining. And even if she wants to be with Sonny, she's not going to continue to live with him as he's declining. So what is the point?
Well, and she understands the business side of his business and how dangerous it is, even putting aside the family aspect, her child, which, I mean, Avery's first. But when you get down to the business side of it, she knows that Sonny needs to be in power. She knows that it is dangerous for him to be in the vulnerable state that he is right now. What, is she suddenly getting back into the mob? Is she going to be reclaiming the Jerome name? What is she doing?
Right.
There's nothing. So yeah. I don't know.
It makes no sense.
None. Oh, and then Dex went to go see Anna about the charges. And yes. I liked that. I liked that he was like, am I being a bad cop before I'm even a cop?
Right. And she's like, no, sometimes you just don't go ahead and give information because you know that it's not in the best interest of yourself or anyone else. And especially now that you're going to be a cop, you don't want to be on Sonny's bad side even more.
Right. Which is kind of what she told him to get him to be a cop anyway.
Right.
And what she told Dante to keep him being a cop.
Yes.
To keep him being a detective. Yeah. So I did like Blaze. I liked how, that was the other thing, that Sonny rushed into the bathroom.
Yes. And Kristina freaked out.
Yeah. I thought she did a really good job.
She did. Being scared and just being like, get away from me. And then breaking down for Blaze.
I did like Blaze's first reaction was, what's wrong with the baby? Let's get you to the hospital. And she's like, no, it's not that. We just have to talk about other things.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. And I guess we could just touch on the fact that Molly and TJ, they had their date. They went to lunch at Bobbies, and she kind of reasoned with him like, hey, if we were having any other surrogate, would you be asking them what their bedtime is? Would you be asking them all these questions? Right. Because she avoided telling him that Kristina missed going for a walk. And she's like, well, we kind of didn't really have plans. It was more of a, hey, it would be nice, but nothing was actually planned.
Right.
So, and he's like, you were afraid to tell me because of how I'd react. So thank goodness they might be changing TJ back to being a reasonable adult.
Yes, yes. And I think that Molly handled it a good way of saying, like, it's not just you. If it was any other surrogate, I wouldn't be dropping off yogurt and celery sticks from Whole Foods or whatever their organic market is to her. And so it was like we were in this together by being overbearing, and now we both need to take a step back.
But I feel like if they had maintained that relationship that they had with Andrea, that she would have 100% have been bringing her food and snacks and flowers or something, but
probably just wouldn't have been unannounced.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So I think that that's really it outside of everything else that goes together.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, everything else goes together. Oh, wait. No, Anna went to see Brennan.
Oh, yeah. And Brennan said that he wanted to see Carly.
Mm-hmm. And again, with the zip ties.
They're listening to us.
And then Anna went to, or called Carly. Why am I forgetting what they talked about Brennan, but. Yeah,
she went to see Carly and was like, she called Carly in. She called Carly in. And Carly was like, what's up? And she was like, guess who's in the hospital? Guess who said that they happened to be in the hospital because they wanted to see you again? And Carly was like, what? And then Carly went to leave and Anna was like, you're not leaving to go see Brennan, are you? And she just gave a look like, why would I even do that? But
because you already called to get put on the list. So
right. But didn't specify where she was going. So
it's just weird.
It is. I don't know. I mean, I know Carly can manipulate people, but I don't know why she is thinking that she can get Brennan to crack. Like, he's the head of a major organization that's doing bad things against her ex-husband. Like, come on.
Right. And Anna called him out on that too. And basically the same thing that she said to Valentine about, yeah, you're lying. You are much better than, like, you were always top in class. I did like his response, though, was, yeah, so that was 45 years ago, and my body doesn't move the same way.
My favorite line this week was Carly to Anna, whenever Anna was explaining the theory that he stabbed himself and, like, asking why. And Carly was like, we're not friends, and we're certainly not stab yourself in the chest type of friends. And I was like, that's so funny.
But meanwhile, that's exactly what Jason did, though, wasn't it? Didn't Jason get stabbed or stabbed himself to get out of jail to be able to see her?
Yes.
Or to be able to at least, like, get access. Yeah. So.
I mean, so maybe that's how she knows what that level is, how to judge. Like, Jason and I are stab yourself friends. Brennan and I, nope, we're not.
Would you stab yourself to get out of jail to see me?
Depending on what it was for.
Yeah.
I would be scared that I would hit a major organ, though. Like, Anna was talking about how he knew, exactly how to stab himself so he didn't hit a major organ, and then he would go to the hospital, but he wasn't going to actually die, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I know. I'd have to study some anatomy some more to figure out where I'm supposed to be stabbing myself.
Spend some time in the library, learn how to stab yourself, then we can talk. Do you know that the pain that you feel from stabbing is actually not from internal, because your organs can't feel that pain? It is from the skin touching like air and everything. Like getting, that's where the feeling is, because they were talking, I was listening to a podcast about how people can be shot or stabbed or whatever. And people will say, it felt like somebody just like punched me in the stomach really, really hard. And then they find out that they have a stab wound. It's because they don't feel, like, the inside doesn't feel the pain. I forget exactly what it was, but they were talking about how, like, your internal organ. Sorry, I'm sucking on a cough drop too. I still have like a little bit of a cough, but otherwise totally fine. Last week I sounded sick.
Yes, you did.
But the internal organs don't feel that, because I think they were talking about someone was stabbed like in one of their intestines, and it was like, yeah, but the intestine doesn't cause pain. Like, that's why the person felt like they got punched in the stomach, because your intestine bloats. So, like, that's the feeling that you get, is the bloated feeling. So that's why the person was feeling that and not, oh shoot, someone just stabbed me. But it has something to do with like once the skin is punctured and the skin, I don't know. Listen to Buried Bones. It's actually, it's a really good, it's a really good podcast. It's retired detective Paul Holes, who's actually part of the reason why the Golden State Killer was caught. He's been basically he was on that case for like decades. And this woman, Kate Winkler Dawson, and they go back to like old crimes, and most of them are murders, but some of them are unsolved. And so or some of them are solved. And she tells him the story and gets like his take on current forensic technology and how it would have been applied. And if what they did at the time is still done today, or, and he'll even say, well, obviously, like in the 1800s, they weren't doing DNA swabbing. But if they had done that, then we could have done X, Y, Z. And I don't know. I think it's really interesting to hear. But yeah, they were talking about how somebody was shot in the head and went about his day.
Oh my gosh.
But it happens like all the time. Maybe not all the time, but I mean, there's a lot of people that.
Good to know. Mental note made.
Yep. So there's your little fun fact is Brennan could have been stabbed and gone about his day.
Shannon's fun murder fact of the week. Is that a new segment we're going to start?
Oh, no. You just wait for reality check. But if General Hospital does not somehow wind up figuring it out how to pull the case that I'm going to talk about in reality check into a storyline, they are missing a major great whodunit storyline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's messed up, but it's very captivating.
Got it.
All right. And back to the show. But yeah, so I mean, I guess Anna kind of just put Carly on notice on, hey, how about you just like leave the policing to the police?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, though. Carly does not get involved in these investigations like this. Like she would not.
No.
If he were not in jail, she would absolutely go visit him.
Right. She doesn't leave a trail that she went to see someone.
No. All right. So I think that might be it before we get into the last two storylines. So I guess the next one we could just really go to that isn't going to tie in because they don't know yet is Alexis's trial.
Yes.
Did you recognize who that is?
No.
Fergus Byrne? That's Cameron. That is Xander Smith's dad. That is Cameron Weathers' namesake and grandfather.
Oh my God, you are so right.
How did you not notice that?
I like totally went. You know what? It's funny because I looked at him for like an extra second and was like, I know him. But then I thought, okay, did he just like play the part before? Like I've seen him before, and so that's why I recognize him. Oh my gosh.
Nope. You love him. And I think that part of maybe why you didn't, I mean, now he's all salt and pepper, but Cameron Lewis was so nice. And, he and Xander had their issues, but he was a nice guy. He was a relatively nice guy. Right. That's why Alexis said he looks familiar.
I am
so glad I am not the only one who recognized this. Our friend Kim wrote in, hello, 54ers, which I like that. We don't have, like, what are our fans called? Are they called 54ers?
I like that.
Maybe they are now.
I've thought about it before.
Just wanted to share how excited I am that Lane Davis is back on GH. I loved his original character, Cameron Lewis, Cameron Weber's grandfather. So I only read that she wrote his name in the subject. So I was so excited. I'm reading this now for the first time. He was involved in one of my favorite storylines, Alexis's disguise as Dobson, the Quartermain butler, which we have still not. We didn't talk about that. We talked about for a second when we did the Quartermain staff, but we didn't go in depth with it. And we've been saying that we need to. So I will say, if they happen to make any reference to it, though, with him being back or something, I think we're going to have to take a little sidestep and do because that's a storyline that you and I reference all the time. Cameron had such a great relationship. He very lovingly called her out on her crazy with Alexis. And I'm excited to see if his new character turns from nemesis into love interest for Alexis. Ooh, goodness knows she deserves some fun this summer. Don't we all? Hope everyone is done being sick, Kim. Yes, Kim, thank you. All on the mend. My husband and daughter did not get it. So we're all back to our normal, except for the occasional little cough. I actually had we had a training at my office the other day and my throat was so dry and I kept sucking on lozenges and kept drinking water and I kept coughing. I was like, guys, I'm not contagious. I just my throat is so dry.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, we're done being sick. But yeah, so we have new Fergus Byrne, who was the original, he was on the panel or he was the attorney?
He was on the panel and then he took himself off the panel, but had his partner take his spot.
Yes. And they were saying, and that's not still a conflict of interest. How?
Right.
So what do you think?
I think that she's right. She didn't lie in a court of law. Like, it was a medical, right? It was all medical, and it was trying not to get him in trouble. It wasn't about a case that she was trying. It was on a personal level, not a...
But was she under oath? I think that's what it ultimately comes down to is, was she under oath and was perjury, I guess, a possibility? You know, because what she did with Neil is she protected him because it was her fault.
Right. I feel like if it was perjury, then that's the police's job to handle. And if they didn't press charges, then how is the bar pressing charges?
Well, because then that would be misconduct.
But I feel like the first court would have had to press charges for them to get involved. And they didn't, right? No one brought charges against her for perjury.
But I mean, okay, so that would be like the same thing as if I did something. I mean, I am not an attorney, but I have laws that pertain to my license.
Yeah.
And even if a client didn't file an issue with me, if the licensing board found out that I did something, even if a client didn't press charges, like if they audit my file and find, I don't even know, I would be in trouble because I didn't follow the laws of my license.
In trouble, or you'd lose your license?
It would probably depend on what it is.
See, I can understand if they would have suspended her license for a while, but like now it's been, 4 years since she's been practicing. So she served her time. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I just think the fact that the information came from Ava and Brennan is like a red flag.
Right.
Like she said. If it would have come from anyone else that was actually concerned, yeah, then that would make sense. This was obviously just revenge.
Right. Like it was a personal vendetta.
Yeah.
And like you said, she brought it up, but how much did they actually investigate it? You know, or did they just investigate? It all really comes down to what was actually a violation of her license, what was actually against the law. Because if she didn't know, if she and Neil did not know their having a relationship was a violation of his license. Oh, that was the other thing. That was the thing. It wasn't a violation of her license. It was a violation of his. And
right.
She lied as a personal civilian. Yes.
Right.
She lied as a civilian, but that's still perjury. And I feel like if you are an attorney and you commit perjury, there has to be something on her license that makes that.
Like I said, I'm not against her getting a punishment. I just don't see her losing her license.
Right.
Because of the circumstances that it was. Again, it wasn't to protect herself. And it wasn't to protect her license. It was to protect someone that she loved and cared about.
I guess it would really just all really depend. But I think that, I mean, I'm sorry. I want my attorneys to, if they are called as witnesses or called to testify, I want them to be telling the truth because even if they're testifying as civilians,
right?
I want them to be setting the bar of, you know what, it would have been in my best interest to lie then. But I knew that I couldn't. Right.
But I think it also comes into play that she didn't know who her accuser was. Like, she didn't have the proper information. Like, somebody was doing shady stuff there to make sure that she couldn't fight it when the time came.
Right.
So, yeah. I think they should say, not that it matters, I'm sure, but I'm sure as far as, like, the notes on your license or whatever, that they could reinstate her and say it was their mistake. I think that they should say that was considered her punishment, that she couldn't practice for the last few years and now she can go back and do it.
And like put her under probation.
Right. We're going to be checking cases for a while.
or she has to be working with somebody else. You know, she has to have, and not let it be Diane. I'm sorry. Like that is a clear conflict of interest that Diane is. I don't think she would necessarily turn a blind eye, but she also would not be as, maybe this is where they'll get them together, is that it'll be, okay, we can reinstate your license. You are going to have a mentor that, not mentor, but you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Someone that you have to work side by side with. And it's going to be Fergus. And then they're going to have a case, and then they're going to be like, smoochy, smoochy.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
And that just has to happen because it's Neil's brother, and we have to continue staying in the family.
No, because our friend Kim is right.
No,
Cameron and Alexis had a great relationship.
It just frustrates me that the only choices in Port Charles are your last boyfriend's son.
Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot. Suitcases, Tetris style.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
No going back this time. Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax, carpets.
I meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant. If things go to plan, it'll be smooth sailing.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.
Father or brother.
Right. Or mother-daughter.
Or mother-daughter, yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Especially when they really could. Well, I think it was funny, too, that, didn't she say something about, I had nothing to do with either of your brother's death? And it's like, when did we question you having to do with the other one?
Well, he said that when in his opening statement, he said that the other brother died because he was there investigating. And so that was Alexis's fault, too.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. But are we done talking about her trial?
Yeah.
I think
until we hear the verdict, they said they needed time to decide.
I hope that that's how it goes. I hope that it is, she is forced to take on someone who has to supervise her and work the cases with her, at least for the next X amount of time. And
that would be a good punishment for him too, for the fact that he, didn't recuse himself correctly. He should have never had his partner take over his spot.
Yes. Okay.
Glad we wrote that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then she had Gregory's, she was like rubbing Gregory's medal like it was a lucky rabbit's foot or do they still make those?
I don't know.
Or like a good luck stone or something.
Right.
Man, we were really obsessed with those back in the 80s, huh? In the 90s. All right, before we go into something sad, let's find this out. Lucky rabbit's foot.
I was not obsessed with them. I only had one.
Hey, they sell them on Amazon.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not reading this. Okay. Still, are lucky rabbit's foot still a thing? Somebody just posted like a year ago on Reddit. Everyone had one. 20 years later, I don't get it. So yeah, I guess it must have just been a fad back in the 90s.
Like those troll dolls.
Yes.
Bless you.
Thank you. So yeah, that brings us to Violet, Finn, and Gregory after the wedding went back to Finn's apartment. And how cute was she?
She was so adorable. She's like, I need to take my flowers to bed with me. And Gregory's like, well, you could hang them up so that you have them forever. And she's like, no, not yet. They have to sit next to my bed. I love the smell of them.
Yep. And then Gregory apologized to Finn about the little blow up that they had before.
Mm-hmm. And they did at least explain that Chase's mom didn't come because that would have been awkward. They finally gave us the reasoning.
Yeah. Well, and she's on assignment, and Chase is saying about how he's basically grown up his entire life with her living that way, you know, that she's missed a lot of big things because of her work. And I feel like they had the most realistic after wedding. I don't know about you, and we don't have to get into details, but pretty much I did the exact same thing. I like passed out on my bed. I think I got changed. We had a friend who gave us a bottle of Dom Perignon, and I think we had half a glass each, and we were like, I am so tired. And then like passed out.
Yep. A lot of our the hotel that we all stayed at had a bar attached to it, or like right across the parking lot. So a
Mhm.
lot of our guests and bridal party were like, come on, we're going over to have some drinks, come with us. And I was like, I am so tired. Like, I remember telling him, if you want to go have some drinks, I really don't care. I'm just
Right.
so tired. And he was like,
Right.
no, I'm obviously going to stay with you. And then one of our friends had snuck into our room and set up like the jacuzzi tub with like rose petals and whatever. And it was so sweet. And I love bath time. Like, to this day, I spend hours in the bath. But like, I got in for like 2 seconds and was like, I'm just too tired to do this. This is making me even more tired. So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
understand those people who like leave the wedding and then go right to the airport. Like, I don't understand how you have the energy for that.
No.
So yeah, they were cute that they just passed out on the bed and were like, no, I'm too tired.
Yeah. But then the next morning they got up and went to the airport, and Chase couldn't find his passport, and then he found it, but then he also found a compass that Gregory had snuck in the bag with a sweet note about how they're always going to be able to find each other or find their way because they have each other and things like that.
Mm-hmm. It was very sweet.
It was. And back to the night before, Violet tucked herself in, and I felt that. I was like,
Yes.
oh. But then I thought it was really sweet that they showed Finn helping Gregory get into bed,
Yeah.
like having to take off his shoes, and how, I mean, Gregory kind of even said it was because of how big of a day it was. You know, it was, yes, sometimes he did need help, maybe with his shoes or his whatever, but like, especially on a day like that.
Yeah.
He was, and then they made some jokes and he's like, okay, that's it. You don't have to finish this. You know, it's, okay. I did not cry when it happened.
Wow.
I know.
Impressed.
I didn't. No, because you know why? Because it was obviously happening.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote, yeah, he's dying. Like, Finn helps him go to bed. Yeah, he's dying. And that was, and then Gregory laid down, and I thought it was just really sweet that they went through like all the photos of him growing up, and that they actually got photos of Michael Easton and Josh Swickard when they were younger and growing up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was so sweet. I really, really liked it. And then he just passed.
Yeah.
And then Finn found.
Yeah, I did tear up, which I don't usually do. I'm going to blame it on the emotions of the week as we're nearing graduation and all that. But it felt like, man, this is like really happening. It's done and over, and I don't want him to go.
I just feel like they did a lot of foreshadowing, because remember I even said when Chase and Brook Lynn were moving up the wedding, and you were like, no, they have to go on their honeymoon. I was like, okay, fine. It can be like towards the tail end of their honeymoon. But I was right on this. I said he was going to probably pass the night of the wedding.
You were. Good job killing him off.
I hate that I was right, but he said, I really want to be there for your wedding.
Yeah. He said at the wedding, now my bucket list is complete.
Right. So there was just a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like, so Erica and I were talking, I think my Grammy knew, because like she had been traveling to see people, and just like looking at the last photo that I have with her, I'm like, she was her, but you could tell like her body was changing.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her, I was like, do you think that she knew? And she's like, I've thought about that. She's like, I think that she knew it was happening. Like, it wasn't going to be too long. Like, she probably didn't feel the same way that Gregory did, you know, with the
right.
Tonight's it. But I don't know. I thought that they had him die nicely. That sounds horrible, but you know what I mean? It was.
No, it was done well. I think it was just the emotion of seeing that they did take that extra detail and like show pictures of him when he was younger and the boys when they were younger and stuff. So it really did feel like they finally come together as this family, and now he has to go. It was sad.
Yeah. And they let him not be in pain. It's not like something happened at the wedding that it was cut short, or when he,
right.
You know, and he didn't have many more of those situations that he had to go through where he was not able to move. You know, it was his time. You know, he, like you said, he mentioned that his bucket list is finished, and I thought it was good. I thought it was a very loving passing.
Right.
And then the next morning, you know, Finn's getting, first of all, how was Violet going to school the morning after a wedding? Like, did they not get married on a Friday or Saturday?
Is exactly what I thought. That is exactly what I thought. And then she's like, we only have a half a day, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? You don't have school on a Sunday or Saturday. And I feel like if they would have gotten married on a Sunday or a weekday, that they would have mentioned that somewhere. Like, oh, we're doing the wedding on, the best flight to get to Italy is on Tuesday. So we're going to have the wedding Monday or something like that. That was just weird.
Right. But that detail aside, Finn gets Violet off to school, comes home, had picked up his favorite bagel or his favorite donut from Eckert's.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was. Doesn't hear Gregory. The look on his face the second that he realized, like, I have to, like, he knew before he got back there.
Yes.
Yeah. And just kind of.
Yeah. He went into like doctor mode. He went in, said his dad's name a few times, and then like checked for the pulse and stuff, and then called 911 and was like, yeah, it's going to be a DOA.
Yeah. I did like how they showed the medics, like the EMTs and everything coming, and how that happens.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I guess it's not really thought about or talked about, it's kind of one of those things that you don't know what happens until it happens.
Right. Right.
But I could also see where, sorry, I'm just like trying to think. I'm like, you can see where it's kind of one of those unknown things that you just don't think about. But
right. Well, it was like whenever Chase did finally get there, he was like, where's dad now? And it was kind of like, where do you think he's not still just laying in the bed? I had to call somebody to come and get him.
Right. But I mean, and that's probably the thing, like Chase probably knows the answer to that also of what happens, but it was probably like he said to Finn, it's not a body, it's dad.
Right. I wanted to see him. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did look to see, because Michael Easton was amazing.
Yes.
Like I thought that how he did that was very, thank you. You are using Michael Easton correctly again.
Right.
I mean, I hate the way that happened, but then I looked up and they talked about the fact that like his very best friend passed away in 2023 from cancer. And so, but he was there when he passed.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm just kind of wondering, is that what he was channeling? Because that seemed so, how sometimes you can just tell like when they're not acting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I felt about that. I felt like that was definitely a personal, not an acting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Violet came home. Well, Violet came home before he wound up calling Chase, right? No. No, he
told Chase first. Chase just hadn't got home yet.
That's right, because they stopped by the Quartermains, dropped off their stuff, and then they came over. Yep. Told Ned and Lois, and Ned and Lois were just talking about, I did like that Lois said something about that she loves the fact that she married him.
Yes.
I thought that was
good dad he is and good family they have.
Yeah. They dropped their stuff off, and then because Liz had showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Liz show up? Did he call her?
I don't know if he called her or if Chase called her. Somehow she found out, and then she went to take care of him.
She called Chase.
She called Chase after, yeah. I don't know. We didn't see her. Yeah, we didn't see her call her. But somehow she found out and she went there.
Yeah.
And as she's like comforting him, she kind of looks at him weird and then looks at the table and is like, okay, I'm taking Violet and we're going to go. And he like flipped out and was like, you're not taking my daughter, blah, 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 blah. And all he
So what we're referencing is the fact that Finn had a drink of, because he had called Alexis. Okay, hold it. He had called Alexis and talked to him about the fact that after he put Gregory to bed, he talked about the fact that he had that sip of champagne.
Yes.
She talked a lot to him about you broke your days sober, but you did not break your sobriety. Like he cannot say, I've been sober for 7 years. 7 years.
Mm.
He cannot say that he's been sober for 7 years, but he can still say that like he's a recovering alcoholic. He can still say he's working on his sobriety. He didn't lose any of that. He just lost his year count, his day count. And I know someone whose spouse is always saying, he's sober except for he had like this. And it's like, no, that's not how that works.
No. You don't get a pass on certain days.
Because he had a sip of bourbon after they left. That's when he opened the bottle, smelled the cork, poured the glass, and took the sip. And then he was on his second glass when Violet came home, right?
Yes.
And he immediately put it down. And I was like, oh, please, dear God, because, okay, he has to be sober for himself. You cannot be sober for anybody else.
Right. But he really has to do it for Violet.
But you can be motivated by that. You know, it's by her. So I thought that was going to be his kind of, what the heck am I doing? You know?
Right.
And Liz tried to get him to go to a meeting. I really liked that she said, I'm not letting you be drunk around that girl, because he was very obviously not drunk yet.
Right. But you have an open bottle that you're just taking like shots of. It's not even like you're mixing it or drinking it slowly. Like, no, you're going to be drunk within the next hour if you keep drinking like that.
Right. And part of me was just really mad at him for yelling at her for looking out for Violet.
Right, exactly. It's not like she said she was taking her and never bringing her back. She was saying, I'm taking her because you're not going to put her through this. You need to figure out what you're doing. And instead he was like, she's not your daughter. We've been fine ever since Hayden left, blah, 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 blah. Like, leave me alone. And so then she left and she called Chase to say, hey, like, I'm not what your brother needs right now. It's you. And then she went to the hospital, and that's whenever Portia was like, what's wrong? We're best friends. Tell me what's going on.
Right. And then she did eventually tell Portia. What do you think Portia's going to do?
Yeah, she's going to say she has to suspend him until things are better because she has a knowledge of his disease. But it does suck that one.
Is that part of his contract that he has to be sober because he didn't get drunk at work? He didn't drink at work.
I don't know.
You know?
Yeah.
Like none of it's, unless he goes to the hospital and tries to do anything medical.
Right.
But I think that it might be in his, because he's supposed to be able to submit to random testing, right?
Yes.
So is Portia going to get random test?
Right.
Ugh. But I did like that Chase went over and basically said the same thing. And he's like, I can't tell you how to grieve, but I can tell you basically what this is going to do.
Right. And this isn't what Dad would have wanted. Like, come on.
Yeah. I don't want to see this ruin Finn, because I feel like they've done such a good job with his sobriety.
Right. And we don't need to have something bad happen to him in order to have Hayden come back. She could just come back.
Right. We don't need him. Like Chase said, he can't tell him how to grieve, but he also doesn't. Oh, wasn't it? I think Liz did say to him, Chase has enough going on right now. Like he doesn't need this also.
Yes.
I guess I'm just really hoping that Finn makes choices that I would want someone to make. Right.
I wondered, like, I didn't see the tag of who gave it to them, but like, why did he even have alcohol in his house? Like,
it was Carmine, wasn't it? Wasn't it Carmine?
Oh, was that who it was from? Okay.
I think it might have been.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, because they gave it to, yeah, because Brook Lynn and Chase would definitely not have given him a gift. Well, to the father of the groom?
Maybe. Do people buy this?
I had a friend give me wine for my son's graduation for high school.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
I usually try to give the mom a gift for a baby shower.
Yeah, that's nice too. But
so, I mean, maybe if it was the Cerullos came in and were like, here's a bottle for the father of the groom, not knowing his disease, not knowing Finn, like not knowing that he lives with Finn, not knowing Finn's past.
Right.
You know,
either way,
I did have a friend who worked for a company that said that for 1 year, I think it was 2020, for all their corporate gifts that they sent to like all their clients, it was a bottle of something, but it was quote, it was under glass that said, quote, break for emergencies or whatever. And I told her, I was like, that's great, except for if you sent that to someone that I knew, that would break their sobriety.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like if you're giving alcohol as a gift, you have to know the person.
Right.
Like even know if they drink.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really wish that Violet had maybe said, Daddy, your breath smells weird or something. Because bourbon's
yes. And he like got down in her face whenever she went to leave and was like, bye, I love you, and like hugged her and stuff. And I was thinking that same thing. She needed to be like, oh, Dad, brush your teeth. But
I hope that he just knows that Violet is worth getting sober for.
Right.
But yeah, so he had to tell her, I like how they told her. I like how he, you know, he broke it down to her level, but also did not dumb it down for her.
Right.
And then when Brook Lynn, I liked that Brook Lynn caught the bourbon also and was like, hey, Violet, why don't you and I go to Bobbies for some ice cream or something?
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't think I don't think Chase had clocked it yet.
Right. And then once he saw it, he's like, oh, that's a good idea. And she's like, yep, we're leaving. You guys talk about adult stuff. And that's whenever they were like, oh, yeah, adult stuff means boring.
Mm-hmm. But then they had some nice time talking at Bobby's. And I liked when Brook Lynn was like, you don't have to talk about it, but if you want to talk about it, you know that you can talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, I looked up ALS. It's not that difficult to spell.
She's so cute.
That was cute. And then what else? Oh, they just talked about it. And she's like, well, I'm thinking about my dad. And Brook Lynn said, that's not going to happen to your dad because he's strong and he's healthy, or it's not going to happen right now.
Yeah, I feel like she was jinxing it. Like, stop saying all those good things.
Yeah. But when Violet, that was the other thing. I liked when they had her go back into his room. Oh, that's where the other email came in. It was from Ellen. I could not stop crying when Violet found out about Gregory's death. Her face and her expressions and acting were spot on. All I can say is, wow, what a scene with Finn. When she ran to the bedroom saying, Grandpa, Grandpa, I just bawled my eyes out. And I'm glad that they didn't have the bed made up. It's...
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's not forget already.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sad. I'm sad that I was right. But I thought that it was just nicely done.
It was. Since we knew it was coming, it was done in a very lovely way. He didn't suffer. It was, it seemed to be quick, and everyone found out pretty quickly.
But also, I feel like they had a difficult task also with his disease because they were bringing awareness to it, bringing knowledge to us. But after we just had that amazing storyline with Mike,
mm-hmm.
I felt like this was done nicely where it wasn't seen as competing with that.
Right.
It was because there's no comparison.
Yeah.
So we had Gregory for a short time.
Too short. I really liked it. I really did.
I did too. But the other thing, I think that's pretty much it though. I mean, I feel like we could talk about this all day.
The only other thing that happened was Lewis's cousin or whatever he is moved into the Quartermain mansion, which we already called that he was going to find a reason to be around because that's going to be the summer drama for the teenagers.
Yep. Well, not even teenagers now. They are young 20s.
Sorry.
And it seems like Lois kind of raised him or has been like a big maternal parental type influence in his life.
Yes. Because he was
what's
like,
that all about?
He's like, I can't stay. Or are you sure I can stay here? Like, this isn't my family. And she was like, oh, your family. Like, it's fine. I already talked to Monica. You're staying. So
right. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yep.
Do you think he's going to be good or do you think he's going to be trouble?
Oh, I hope he's good, but I don't know. He said something about not having too many friends back home, so that makes me wonder, was he trouble?
Right. All right. I think that's it though.
Yeah. Reality check.
So what was your reality check?
It was another crazy week, another trip to the hospital for Megan. My mom's recovering from having her gallbladder out, so she's been super, not needy, just she's scared to do too much, but over just sitting around. So she calls and just like kind of chats about stuff that I'm like, did this really warrant a phone call? And I know, by now, because my mom is older, to just try to cherish every interaction. But like, she tried to place an order at JCPenney and she couldn't get it to go through. And so it was like in the middle of my work day. And she's like, so I'm trying to order this dress, and like starts describing it. And I'm like, Mom, I love you and I will help you and I will order the dress, but I cannot do it right now. And so when I got home, I ordered the dresses and I ordered them for store pickup so that I could just go get them and take them to her instead of waiting for them to ship or whatever. But I will be happy whenever she can move around just a little bit more back to normal, because it's a lot trying to entertain her in her boredom as well. And still trying to figure out what's wrong with Megan. Ryan's healing well, so hopefully we're coming to the end of all of that and getting ready for Megan's graduation, which I still can't believe is coming up this week because she was my original baby. Because back in the day, we had not at all planned on having a Madeline. So that's why there's that space between them of so many years. And so it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that in a way she's my last baby. Like if I wouldn't have had a Madeline, I would be a empty nester here almost. So that's crazy. Yeah. So I'm just, proud of her for getting it done and doing what she needed to do. Because like I said, there were some thoughts that maybe it wasn't going to happen. And then on Saturday is Madeline's dance recital. So we'll be done with that for a month. And I'll be so excited to not have to go to dance.
Yay! But, nice.
Yeah, all kid, you know how it is this time of year. It's all kid stuff. You don't really have a life of your own. So
no.
No, that's about it. But mostly good stuff. So I'm excited for this upcoming week and happy that last week is done and over with. Good. How about you? Now that everyone is not sickos at your house.
Yeah. So pretty much was on the mend this week. Tuesday was my anniversary. Oh, and I sent you the picture of Brook Lynn and Chase, and I have almost an exact same picture.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Oh, your wedding pictures were so beautiful.
Well,
it was like a fairy princess you looked like that day.
I had a good time. So yeah, Tuesday was our anniversary, but we didn't do anything because we weren't sure how I was going to be feeling. Mm-hmm. It's been crazy hot all week, so I've been actually spending a lot of time in the pool.
Oh, nice.
Which I've kind of needed because of some of the crazy stuff happening during the week with regards to my daughter's services and just having to. I don't understand why some organizations make it so difficult where I'm asking, so what will be available when she turns 21? And they won't answer the question. And then I have to get mean about it. And so basically, my one coordinator came over Wednesday and I told her because I've been asking, what do we need to do to prepare her for being 21? What do we have to get going on? Because there are going to be other things available after she turns 21.
Right.
And the person who I was working with prior to her had been mentioning certain things. And then my new person hasn't mentioned them. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And I was like, I feel like we're not getting stuff. And she's like, well, what services do you feel like you're not getting? And I was like, I don't know. But other people with adult children are telling me,
right,
these things should be happening. Why is it when I ask you, what can we be doing right now? I'm basically just getting blown off. Mm-hmm. So then I reached out or I didn't reach out. When I was renewing her insurance, there was a box for something. So I read the description. It sounded like it applied to us. So I checked the box. Not even a couple days later, I had a phone call from the insurance company calling and saying, hey, let's schedule for somebody to come out and do the intake. And I was like, okay, I don't know what we're doing right now because all I did was read the description. I read the box, but then I also read the website description.
Right.
And I verbally went through all this with them and said, well, here's my situation, blah, 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 blah. And so my daughter does not have any physical disabilities. So that's important. That comes into play. So then the intake person comes and I ask specifically to that intake person, is this going to impact the services that I set up with that she has set up with this other department that is also state run?
No,
and she doesn't. Well, she doesn't know. So then that was 2 weeks ago. So then on the 10th, they called to schedule the in-home assessment and so we scheduled it for the 22nd. And I said, okay, what time? And they go, well, we won't find out until the 21st. It's not scheduled until the 21st. I said, I work.
Right.
I said, I am very thankful that I am able to be flexible. But I said, but what time frame? I said, okay, can you give me a time frame? And they're like, well, you won't find out until Tuesday.
Oh my God.
I said, so you really just expect people to not have anything scheduled? And they're like, well, you'll find out the day before. And I was like, that's not how work works.
Right.
That's not how work works. So I had to very intentionally not schedule anything for pretty much all day. And the guy came over, did the assessment. And then because I was just keeping her home that day anyway, I was like, let's just get everything done. So I had the person that we currently have services set up with. So the guy that came and did the assessment was for new services with a different organization, like a different department of the state.
Okay.
So my person came with the other department of the state. And when I mentioned to her, oh yeah, this is what we were setting up with this one. And she's like, I think that might be a conflict. I don't think you can have services through both. And I said, well, I asked. And she's like, well, that's more physical disabilities. I said, I've brought that up. And neither person that came to my house, they both physically saw her. And the one person said she's probably going to qualify just based on medical. Well, I feel like medical includes physical disability. So
Right.
So then she's like, well, I'm going to ask my supervisor because I haven't had training on that yet. So I'm like, perfect.
Oh my
When I don't have training on something for my clients, guess what I have to do? I have to go find out the answer because it benefits my clients and it can mess up their entire process.
Right.
But we don't make these people even have that thought process of I should probably find out so it doesn't mess up this person's life.
Right.
So she emails her supervisor. So then her supervisor finally gets back to me and we have like a big exchange. I was like, well, can you tell me what is going to happen when she turns 21? Like, here's what we are trying to set up over here. Am I able to do the same thing over here?
Right. And I've been asking the same question for months.
Right. And I basically just get the runaround. And she's like, well, if you would like to look into those with us, you'll just have to work with your person. And I said, yes, I want to know absolutely everything that is going to be available after her 21st birthday.
Yeah.
And she said, well, here's the number for the other company. And I said, you just said in your last email to talk to my person with you.
Person here. Yeah.
And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure that you had their phone number. I'm like, I do have their phone number. Thank you.
Right.
I'm like, and it's just, I'm getting the runaround so much and it's needless. And it makes me feel stupid because they're putting me in the position where I feel stupid.
Right. Because they're asking you questions that aren't your job. It's theirs.
Right. And I mean, it's not, I think I shared on Facebook, I said, this is basically the equivalent of if I told, let's say you were interested in buying a house. Okay, go ahead, go to an open house and look at it. You find a sales agreement online, you write it all up. I'll email it to you and I'll still get paid. Or I'll email it to them and you still get paid. Or I still get paid. By the way, you have to do all the other work too.
Right.
So it's redonkulous, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But in short, the entertainment, I don't want to say this is entertainment, but the thing that has captivated me for the week is there's a murder trial going on up in Massachusetts. It's the Karen Reed trial. And we all know Erica's from Boston. And I've mutual friends with one of her friends on Facebook, and she posted something about it. And I mean, this is like a new to me friend. So I've actually never met her in person, but she posted something. And so I Googled it and I was like, oh my gosh, you just put me down a rabbit hole. She goes, you have no idea. So then I went to TikTok because that's where we go for information. And there are people, this has been going on almost for 2 years, but like, it's just now going to trial. There is like massive corruption going on. This woman's being accused of killing her top boyfriend in front of, like, apparently she hit him with his car or her car and just left him to die. Outside of the house of a state cop or a sergeant, something like that, that was full of other cops. The house was full of other cops. Nobody heard or saw anything.
Oh, nice.
All the first responders, like everyone's stories have changed. I mean, there is like a mass corruption going on here that it's been crazy. And day 17 was on Friday. And I seriously watched double time on YouTube, 7 hours of testimony.
Oh my God.
Well, okay, I didn't watch it all. I listened to it as I was going.
Yeah.
I basically treated it as a podcast. But if you're in our audience and if you're paying attention to the Karen Reed trial, can we talk? I mean, there's a couple good playlists that I found on TikTok that did a really good job of recapping everything. So, but it's definitely going to be a Netflix series probably by the end of the year. I mean, it's just, there is so much, like they're deleting text messages. They're deleting their Google histories. Oh, this one lady's Google history. That's why I thought about it for this. This one lady's Google history. She was Googling how long does it take to die in the cold? But she like misspelled it. Right. But she misspelled it and then she deleted it. But then she searched it again at like 6:30 in the morning. So like 4 hours later. And then on the stand, she didn't know that they found her original search from 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, geez.
And she's like, well, that's wrong. That's wrong. And the thing is, like, she had misspelled it the first time, but she misspelled a different word the second time. And they're like, even if you delete a search, we can find out what the search was.
Yeah.
So there's like so much deleting.
I love whenever people are like, what? Whenever you delete something, it's not actually gone? No,
Right.
Nothing is ever gone on your computers or your phones for real. So Don't
There's
trust that.
there's text messages that have been deleted. They used red Solo cups to collect the blood evidence in the snow, stuff like that. So it's crazy. So that's kind of been what my binge has been this week, I guess. So yeah, but yeah, General Hospital definitely needs to figure out a way to do something like this because it's a really entertaining. I hate to say it that way because somebody died, but
it is. They put it out there as entertainment now, so it's sad, but how it happened is entertaining.
It is like mass. They created this,
right?
You know, these dozens of people who are all like legal professionals and everything. You know, they've abused their power,
right?
So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And I am pro police. You know that. I'm not saying anything. It's just this instance is definitely, and everybody's related to everybody.
Oh, so it's a Port Charles.
100%. So it's all that stuff too. It's like even the judge, her brother was the attorney for one of the cops when, he got away with killing someone like 20 years ago. Right.
Well, see, Alexis needs to be on that.
So there's a lot of stuff like that is what I'm saying. But yeah, but nothing like that happened to Lila, which is who we're talking about this upcoming Thursday. Like that segue.
Very good.
But yeah, so join us on Thursday as we talk more about our favorite Lila.
Have a good weekend. No,
and we'll meet
have
you
a good week.
Yes, week.
I'm putting us into a whole new weekend again. I'm done.
Yep. So have a good, yes.
You have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review. And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.